Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream number 117. And it's a Wednesdays with Skep. Skep will be here in a couple of minutes. I wanted to start so we weren't running too far behind. So I've sent Skep the link. He's probably having to make sure his little puppy dog has relieved herself. Why do I sound so weird? That's just odd. Hello.
I just got it. I'm terribly sorry.
It's okay.
I actually heard you say I've sent Skep the link, and I still had not gotten the link.
Weird.
Yeah, so I sat there, and all of a sudden I see the dots twirling around, indicating that a message is coming, and then up comes the link.
Weird.
Yeah, so
Stupid Twitter.
That has to be Twitter. That's not like local internet or anything like that. That's maybe they know I'm not on board with the social justice warriors. But anyway, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there. Just laughing at the world. Laughing. Ocasio-Cortez is like the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, she's a gift, all right.
She's so aggressively stupid, and is getting in back of policy statements, and she's taking the Obama model, where essentially anything that comes out of her mouth is only her operative statement during the time it's actually exiting her mouth. She won't stand behind anything that she says. She is a person who exists only in the moment. I truly believe she has no memory of the stuff that she says.
Yeah.
And she's completely irresponsible. She's just as big an airhead as she appears to be. And I didn't know if you wanted to go out down this rabbit hole. I just think that she's the shining, amazing absurdity that if you wanted something to laugh at early on, I'll just say this. Watch carefully the stuff that's going on with her chief of staff, Chakramoorty or whatever his name is. He has apparently misused and is the subject of a federal election commission complaint, actually 2 complaints, that he basically has siphoned $1 million out of her campaign into his personal company.
I read that story on Monday.
Yeah. And it was illegal. It was
that was a very interesting move.
And he just thought he could get away with it. He thought, well, we're in charge. We're the grown-ups now. Nah, not so much. So they'll get fined for that probably. That's about all that will happen. But in point of fact, I think that the investigation might turn up some very interesting things. We'll see.
Well, Chadwick says, good thing we have the internet, because all the stupid things that she says will be there forever.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
The internet lives forever. And the interesting thing is it puts things like MSNBC and CNBC and NBC and CNN in the position of having to deny what the internet does really well. The internet is really good about preserving inconvenient truths. And there are a lot of inconvenient truths for Democrats these days. And CNN can say, well, we're not going to run that stuff on our news. If there's anything bad about a Democrat, we won't run it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you say Ilhan Omar is an anti-Semite, we won't run that, even if she is. Because that's just who we are.
Yeah, I love the Twitter thread from Ocasio-Cortez, who bitched about, why is everyone so mad at Omar for being anti-Israel when nobody defended me when someone told me to go back to Puerto Rico. It's like, yeah, because those are two statements that are one and the same.
Right, exactly. You know, false equivalences come dripping out of her mouth. Or, you know, I was doing better political analysis, all kidding aside, when I was in the 8th grade. Now, admittedly, I was a bit of a political science nerd even then. But, you know, and haunting the pages of the Washington Post and the Denver Post. And, you know, loving every political story that came out. And, you know, I could see that Nixon was a bad man early on. And I get the same feeling about her. I feel that same venality, that same complete, you know, the ends justify the means. I am absolutely right. I'm so self-righteous that, you know, none of the mechanisms that are there to protect democracy or, you know, our liberty are relevant to me.
Yeah.
You know, I can just, anyway, I don't know why I'm being so preachy this morning. Anyway, it's cold down here, by the way. It's like 15 degrees Celsius down here.
Oh, shut up.
It's fucking freezing.
It's negative 15 degrees Celsius here.
I had to
with
put
a
on
wind
a
chill.
sweatshirt. I had to put on a sweatshirt to go outside.
Poor you.
Oh my God. I had to hunt up some long pants I could wear.
I had to I still have to wash my winter coat from, it's still got all the airbag dust in it.
Yeah.
So
really?
I've been wearing a sweatshirt and my leather jacket.
Oh man.
To go
Layer
outside.
Up. Layer up, girl.
I'm freezing. I dropped off Alex at school today and the wind was just awful.
Yeah. No, you need to get that done. And all that stuff. So here we are talking about politics or the weather. Are we typical or what? Let's see. What's going on in chat today? Oh, wait a minute.
Pumpkin Trucker says, I'm doing it again. Your stream is mine. Ha ha ha. He's hi, Trucker.
All right, let's see. All right, there I was having trouble with chat there. Let's see. Pincalo says, don't let it sound like it's the thin motorcycle jacket. It's a leather pea coat. It's as heavy as the one. It's just not made as one. It's just not made of wool. Okay.
No, it's pretty warm.
It's still leather though. Wool is warmer than leather.
And I never wore a thin motorcycle jacket, honey. I always wore those freaking thick leather jackets. I hate thin leather coats.
Well, it's good for keeping the road rash away too.
I just like leather.
Well, I hear you. Let's see who all is in chat today. We got Chadwick and Arva. Hey guys. Opinionated Gulf City Scotsman is there.
Oh, Blind Girl is here.
Blind Girl is here. Fishing
Pumpkin
guy.
Trucker.
Yeah, Seamus is here. All you need. Good morning, all you need. And let's see. W.R. Costin is here. Zombie Teddy. And Greg Rogers is here. Pumpkin Trucker. I might have called him out before. I like that Blind Girl says yo. Reminds me of the Navy. Let's see. Anybody else?
Maniac Man.
Maniac Man. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. Shut up, Pincalo.
Pincalo, you come on and do the stream for a while. You think of interesting, pithy, cool things to say.
No, he's yada, yada, yada-ing my leather.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's... Actually, Pincalo is conversational enough. He could probably do his own stream if he had an interest in doing that.
Blind Press is into kinky leather.
Yeah, I was wondering how long that would take, right? And Pincalo says, I got to drive to Brantford, so I just might. Okay.
Do you want the link?
Where's Brantford? Where's Brantford?
Brantford is about 45 minutes from where we live. It's a small town. It's actually where the School for the Blind is W. Ross McDonald. It's at least a nationally known school, but there are some people who have come to Canada to go. But if you look up W. Ross McDonald, you'll find the city of Brantford.
I'm going there on Google Earth now. I'm going to check it out and see.
You want the link, Pink Hollow?
And there's Brantford. It seems to be above a Great Lake.
Yep.
Next to Great Lake on either side, and just surrounded by Great Lakes. Oh, it's near Kitchener.
Yeah.
Okay. And Guelph, which I always think is a great name. Guelph.
That's where all the Scottish immigrants moved to back in the 40s. And
really interesting.
Yep. There's a lot of Scottish named streets in Guelph. There's Gordon Street. I'm sure. Can't get much more Scottish than Gordon Street.
Brantford is a city in southwestern Ontario, Canada, founded on the Grand River. It is surrounded by Brant County, but is politically separate with a municipal government of its own that is fully independent of the county's municipal government. And points of interest are Elements Casino in Brantford, the Bell Homestead National Historical Site,
yes,
the Brantford Twin Valley Zoo, Glenhurst Art Gallery of Brantford, the Mohawk Chapel, but wait, there's more. The Woodland Cultural Center, the Brant Sports Complex, Canadian Military Heritage Museum, Earl Haig Park, Brant County Museum and Archives, West Brant, as opposed to East, North, and South, who did not make this list, Apps Mill Nature Center, the Myrtleville House Museum, we're almost finished, Glenhurst Gardens, and Mohawk Park. What's the name of the School of the Blind?
W. Ross McDonald.
That's unsat that this is not on there. W. Ross McDonald. W. Ross McDonald. Okay, here we go. W. Ross McDonald School, Wikipedia. So they are known by Wikipedia. They're just not listed as an attraction in Brantford to go check out.
Yep.
So there you
I don't like that school though.
W. Ross McDonald is the only school in Ontario for blind and deaf-blind students, and the only such school in Canada serving academic students. Okay.
It's very isolated.
200 students.
Yeah. It's very isolated. It's a very small school. A lot of the people that go there are not only blind, but they have other mostly intellectual disabilities.
Sure.
So the curriculum is as basic as it can be without not following the standard curriculum. So most blind students that do not have intellectual disabilities, their parents will opt to send them to public school so that they can get a full education and socialization, because they have what's called itinerant vision teachers who are employed by school boards to come in and work with the blind students and teach them Braille, so that they can still have a Braille education. But they do it in the public school setting.
Okay.
So that the blind students can still be in class with their sighted peers. And what happened with me, because I went blind so young, is I learned Braille while the kids were learning printing and handwriting.
Okay.
And then the other job of these vision teachers is to make sure that any print material is translated into Braille and / or audio format, depending on what the blind person, like some blind people just do better by listening.
Mm-hmm.
They're still taught Braille because, you don't want to have an illiterate
No,
blind
no, no.
person.
Yeah, that's important.
But if they can't absorb something by reading it, they will listen to it instead. Like on a computer or something, they'll have a screen reader. They'll scan in the document and have a screen reader read it to them. Or they're like me and they have their information in Braille. And it's the job of the vision teachers to make sure that those formats are provided to the blind person. It used to be also their job to translate the Braille note assignments back into print for the teachers before technology got better.
Okay.
So these people would read Braille with their eyes and write out in cursive what was on the page.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Blind girl says I'm illiterate. We gotta get you learning Braille, girl. You could do it. Although I understand that it is a lot harder for adults who lose their sight to learn Braille because their fingers just they're not as sensitive, right? They've had years of, whatever they may be doing damaged their hands and their fingers haven't adapted, right?
Yeah.
Like blind children obviously have to learn Braille from the get-go.
Yep.
So their fingertips are just developed.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of blind adults have a hard time. They do have a harder time learning Braille than.
Do you tend to read with one hand as opposed to the other, or can you read with both hands? I know it's a strange question, but
no, it's not actually. I read with both hands mostly, with my 2 index fingers.
With your 2 index fingers, okay.
Yeah. There are times where, like in school, when I was in school, if I was reading and typing, I would kind of be typing and then I'd like go back and check maybe a word or two with one hand. But if I'm gonna read like full on paragraphs and whatever, I'll use both my hands.
Interesting. The one of the graduates of that school was Jeff Healey.
Yes, it was.
And if you remember him, he wrote and performed Angel Eyes, and he was actually a pretty good blues guitarist. His one of his tricks was that he would place his guitar in his lap, like a regular 6-string guitar, like a Les Paul.
Yeah.
In his lap, and he had a very strange technique, very, very innovative technique for playing the guitar. He didn't use a slide like most people did. He fretted the guitar overhand.
Yeah.
Which played some very interesting blues that way. He was really versatile guitarist. Really master of his craft. And
he was very technical, I found.
Yes.
But he didn't really have much like.
He was a guitar player. Yes.
Yeah, he was very technical, but his guitar never sang. Do you know what I mean by that?
You're not the only person who ever said that about Jeff Healey. And I was going to be kind to him because he's dead now, but yes, he was kind of made to play the studio guitar.
Yeah.
He would have been, a good studio backing for like the Monkees or something.
I agree. Yeah.
And the thing is, the people people say, there are a lot of people who have the technical skill of Eric Clapton, even faster and play harder stuff than he does. Why is Eric Clapton so great? Because he can make the guitar sing.
Yeah.
That's what Stevie Ray Vaughan had to.
Yeah, exactly. People like Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Lightning Hopkins,
Eric Clapton, who else am I thinking? Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. It's what Steve Vai does not have.
Yeah.
And what, unfortunately, Eddie Van Halen did not have. Eddie Van Halen, top-notch student of the guitar. Really just overpowering skills. And he could not make the guitar speak to you.
No.
And Buckethead is a little bit that way. Although, when Buckethead slows down, Brian Carroll, when he slows down, he can play some really interesting stuff. I heard some tapes he made with, he was sitting in with Primus.
Oh, wow.
And he was playing some really soulful blues. And I was going, that's Brian Carroll? Holy, that's Buckethead, you know, Mr. Chattery Shred.
Yeah.
You know, million notes a second. And he was playing some beautiful stuff. So,
you know who can really make a guitar sing, which is surprising for a metal band?
Who?
Kirk Hamming, the
guitarist Metallica.
For Metallica.
He is
the
master
of fucking puppets.
Yeah.
In the middle when they slow down. It's just freaking.
Listen to the middle part of Enter Sandman.
Oh yeah. Welcome Home Sanitarium. Another one.
Yep. Yeah, he is really he is absolutely one of my favorite guitarists of all time.
Oh, poor Pumpkin Trucker. He's sad because I'm ripping into Jeff Healey. Jeff Healey, I like his stuff.
Angel Eyes. That only got to number 5. I always thought that was a number 1 hit in the United States, but it was number 1 in Canada. It was number 5 in the United States.
Just leave me alone, says all you need.
Poor thing. We're so offensive on the stream. We're so evil. Arva says there is talent and there are gimmicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And there are gimmick guitarists who there was a guy named Alvin Lee, was the name of his band, 10 years after. And Alvin Lee played one lead and he played it well, but he only knew one lead. And it was the lead that emerged in all of his songs. And they were a 3-album wonder, you know, and vanished.
Yes, it was the Sanitarium lyrics. Just leave me alone.
Oh man, no, you know, you talk about well, anyway, let's not get into a Metallica discussion because that's what we'll talk about.
Yep.
That was a band though that, you know, it always irritated me that they get talked about in the same breath as AC/DC, like they're somehow comparable. And AC/DC is a completely different type of band than Metallica.
Yeah, you can't compare Metallica to AC/DC.
No, AC/DC
they're
is
not
a party
even the
band.
same genre.
Yeah, they're exactly. AC/DC is a party, rowdy, you know, band full of crazy people, you know, and a guitarist that looks like he's, you know, ODing on speed. And Metallica was making serious and very strange, but very serious and very wonderful music, in my opinion. AC/DC is not great music.
You can't compare.
You're not there for the musicality.
You cannot compare you can't compare One, for example.
Yeah.
To Big Balls.
Right, exactly.
Like, seriously. Big Balls is a funny song.
Right.
But it just, no. Just no.
Highway to Hell.
Dirty Deeds.
Or Highway to Hell. Yeah, exactly. Those are fun songs. It's not serious music.
No.
There's 5 whole chords in them, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I love AC/DC too, the reason that they get talked about in the same vein, I think it goes back to the Beavis and Butthead cartoons. One of them had an AC/DC shirt on, and the other one had a Metallica shirt on, and people made this kind of false equivalent.
Yeah.
I, I love Blind Girl. Enter night. Take my hand off to blind press land. Take my hand off to blind press land.
Maybe I should ask Tailed Feature to make me an Enter Sandman
Oh yeah,
parody
I
with
can even
that.
play that one. I've played that for years.
Take that off to Blind Press Land.
Oh. Tail has
um,
better effects than I do, though.
I actually taught myself the intro to Enter Sandman, and then I'm like I said, I'm more of a rhythm guitar than a lead guitar. I'm lead vocals, rhythm guitar.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would put myself. I can chord,
Mm-hmm.
I can chord and keep beat, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely a better singer than I am a
You know,
guitarist.
the the occupation of rhythm guitar has really fleshed out in the last 20 years. Rhythm guitar used to be, I'm not good enough to play lead.
Yeah.
That used to be the description, and it was the Beatles. It was pretending that George was a better guitarist than John. He
Yeah.
wasn't for the first 10 years, for the first 5 years of the Beatles, probably. John was teaching George to play the guitar.
Yeah.
George eventually got better, but it took a long time. It's pretty astonishing to think, when he was playing stuff like Day Tripper, that was the hardest thing he knew how to play. That's by his own description. He said, I just barely was able to learn that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, where I was going with that is now listen to, and I think it was groups like Aerosmith as much as anything,
Mm-hmm.
who basically had two lead guitarists.
Yes.
And so what they do is I watch what they treat Joe Perry and what's his name, the guy who went away and rehabbed off drugs and came back. He's now an amazing guitarist. I forget his
I
name.
can't remember his name.
They throw leads back and forth, but it's fun to watch the guy who's not playing lead because they're playing really tasty licks in as a rhythm piece to complement the other guy's lead. They really do work together. They actually like each other. They neither one of them has any time for why am I blanking on the singer for Aerosmith? Fuck it.
Neil Peart?
No. He's the drummer for Rush. Aerosmith. Can't believe I can't remember who the Steve Tyler.
Yeah, he's the singer too.
Yeah, Brad Whitford is who I was trying to think of. And you watch them play back and watch them trade leads back and forth. It's just astonishing. And one of them will go into really interesting rhythm while the other guy is playing the lead. Their music is actually much better than Steven Tyler's singing.
Tyler just kind of shouts.
Yeah, he's got a screamer's voice. He's got the steam turbine lungs, and he can do a lot of things with his voice. But in point of fact, those two guys could play for any band on earth. That's the truth. They're well, anyway. I have a lot of respect for them.
Chadwick says I should do some covers. Well, maybe now that I have a good mic, I will consider doing some covers.
Yeah, just play a little guitar in back and play it through. Use and the thing is, don't sing and play at the same time.
No.
Use Audacity, and then sing while you play. Sing while you listen to yourself play. And that would be cool. I'd like to hear that too. Be another career.
So, the title of the stream is "You Can't Hug People with Nuclear Arms," and that's a quote back when Family Guy was funny. That I grabbed because I wanted to talk about what you thought about India and Pakistan. and
Ah,
the fun that's going on over there. And I use
okay.
that term, of course, in the loosest sense of the word.
In order to understand India and Pakistan, and I promise this isn't going to be too much of a history rate, but a little history is in order. Back in the day when Pakistan was created by a bunch of guys sitting around a table in London, okay, and basically said, okay, here's how we're going to draw the map. And 1948 came about, and they said, we've got to do something to get the Muslims out of India because the Hindus and the Muslims are basically, you're going to have a civil war and you're going to have 500 million people dead.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, we'll invent Pakistan. And people can, the Muslims can head for Pakistan, and the Hindus can head out of the eastern portion of India back into the interior of India, and then that eastern portion or that western portion, excuse me, will be a place we call Pakistan. It will be full of Muslims, and then India will be full of Hindus, and then never the twain shall meet. And what ended up happening was there was a caravan of people on donkeys in cars, and all the Hindus were headed toward India, and all the Muslims were headed out of India toward Pakistan, and they would stop and just kill each other periodically.
Oh, awesome.
Just a look out of a car window would be enough to they all had guns, and they just opened up on each other, and you'd come upon these scenes where everybody was dead, and there'd be a couple of kids crying, and all the adults were dead. And that happened again and again, but eventually they all got moved. Okay, so Pakistan and India don't really like each other historically. There's
No.
historical enmity that is almost biblical in scope.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to believe that these two nuclear nations are now they're fighting over the Kashmir.
Yeah.
Kashmir is a very desirable region between the two countries, and Pakistan wants it, and so does India. Historically, it's been India, but there is a sizable Muslim population there, so it's really the same old problem in miniature. Okay? And it could probably be solved in a similar way, but people will refuse to move. That's the thing; they'd rather stay and fight. They just are, and these people are ignorant of world events, ignorant of anything other than my daddy told me to kill Muslims, my daddy told me to kill Hindus. That's just where those people are at. They don't know much about the world at large, and it's one of these things that if you can keep it simmering and just occasionally bursting out in a generation or two, I'm talking about 25 to 50 years. That's what it's going to take to flush the people out of there and get enough new blood in where the tempers will be diluted to the point where it can start to be a peaceful thing. That's just my take on it. It's got to burn itself out very much the way Northern Ireland did, and much the way that eventually Palestine, after it goes through 100 years of hopelessness, that will burn out too. After they see the Israelis succeeding and seeing happy Arabs living as 20% of the Israeli population, when they finally get enough of that, they'll say, maybe we should try that. And then there will be peace there too. That's just what I think. That's the thing. I don't think there's going to be a nuclear war. Yes, they're both nuclear armed. Essentially what would happen if one of them nuked the other is that country would cease to exist. If Pakistan did it, that it would cease to exist. If India just wouldn't do that.
Well, and they're too
even
close
if they were
to each
attacked,
other, wouldn't they? They're too close to each other. If they nuked the other one, wouldn't they basically nuke themselves?
Yeah, it's hard to say, because it depends on the type of nuclear weapon that is used, how much yield it has, where it bursts, to see how much fallout there's going to be. A high air burst is not going to have near as much fallout as a low, close to the ground burst. It's going to happen because fallout is the dust that's kicked up and made radioactive and then drifts with the wind.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of variables there. neither one has an interest in irradiating the other. They just want to kill each other's people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would probably be looking to, low yield, high neutron. Yeah, it's simple technology to put a damper around. I forget the type of damper they put around it to radiate out mostly high speed neutrons, which basically kill people and don't just you kill many more people that way and only destroy a much smaller part of the city,
Right.
type of thing. But you kill all the people in the city. It's a it so you would probably have that kind of a weapon if they were going to use it, but I don't think there's a chance in hell that either one will do it. They're going to saber rattle. They're going to threaten each other. They might even threaten each other with that, but there's no way that they'll do that because the leadership of both countries know what the penalty for doing that would be. That's just my opinion, though.
Do you think they care about the penalty, though?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. The leadership of those countries do not want to live in disease-stricken poverty for the rest of their short lives, or as essentially vassal states to the UN. They don't want their governments taken over. They want to have independence, and neither one will sacrifice that for Kashmir.
Mm.
So this is a pissing contest. It's going to be much Sturm and Drang, and not a lot of anything else.
If
Just
they knock each other out, though, we will lose two great Test cricket teams, says Greg Rogers.
Absolutely, it's part of the English legacy that left the indecipherable sport of cricket.
I've never understood cricket.
It took me about a half a day of reading to understand just how it's scored, just and some of the basic strategies for using how it's scored. That's how they win.
Mm-hmm.
It's way beyond the scope of this stream. It's almost bizarre. In the way it's done. Of course, it gets people.
Scotsman says cricket is boring to watch anyway.
It is. Except when you get a really good batsman and he really smacks one. It's pretty fun.
Pinkala says this is no different than the Armenian Azerbaijan
fighting over the mountains.
Yeah, there's still a war going on over there, he says.
Yeah. There's a lot more resources at stake and that can be brought to bear than Armenia and Azerbaijan can do. Armenia or Azerbaijan would be easily overwhelmed by Pakistan. I mean, there's,
no, I think he's saying
a difference in size there.
I think he's saying that this conflict might be this like in the similar vein.
Oh yeah, it's over territory. I see what
yeah.
Yeah.
But the Kashmir area, isn't that near like the Indus River and all that? Like basically the breadbasket of civilization.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking up a Kashmir conflict map that I can understand. Yeah, it's just north of China, right? Wikipedia, Kashmir conflict. I'll see what it says. Kashmir is a territorial conflict primarily between India and China, having started just after the partition of India. In 1947, China has at times played a minor role. India and Pakistan have fought 3 wars over Kashmir, including the Indo-Pakistani Wars of 47 and 65, as well as the Kargil War of 1999. The two countries have also been involved in skirmishes over control of the Siachen Glacier India claims the entire princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, and as of 2010, administers approximately 43% of the regions. It controls Jammu, the Kashmir Valley, Ladakh, and the Siachen Glacier. India's claims are contested by Pakistan, which administers approximately 37% of the region, namely Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. China currently administers the remaining 20%, mostly uninhabited areas, the Shaksgam Valley and the Akshanchin, which are the southern parts of Kashmir.
Oh, okay.
The present conflict is in the Kashmir Valley, the root conflict between the Kashmiri insurgents and the Indian government. Like I said, it's the Muslims in the region versus the Indians, tied to a dispute over local autonomy and based on the demand for self-determination. They want self-rule. India says no. Democratic development was limited in Kashmir in the late 1970s, and by 1988, many of the democratic reforms introduced by the Indian government had been reversed. Nonviolent channels for expressing discontent were thereafter limited and caused dramatic increases in support for insurgents advocating violent secession from India. So basically, it sounds like India encouraged, they said, we're going to give you home rule. Then they went back on their promise, and the Kashmiris got pissed off. And so in 1987, a disputed state election created a catalyst for the insurgency when it resulted in some of the state's legislative assembly members forming armed insurgent groups. In July 1988, a series of demonstrations, strikes, and attacks on the Indian government began as what they called the Kashmir insurgency. So yeah, it's the Indus, Kashmir goes like from Afghanistan in the north, the Hindu Kush on the left, on the west side, India, Pakistan is and India are to the south. I was wrong. China is to the east. It's the eastern part that the Oxychin, and that's like wasteland. It's like wasteland desert. It's the not interesting part of Kashmir. That's the part that China gets. The Jammu and Kashmir are the parts that are closest to India, and they're administered by Indian. The northern areas are administered by Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
And the Punjab, is that the Indus River? I'm looking for the Indus River.
Duck Dog says Nepal needs to have control.
Nepal?
Of
what?
Needs to have control of everything to the mountains, he says.
Okay.
Hindu Kush, I gotta try that, says Chadwick.
It's actually excellent. No, I've never tried it. I've had different kinds.
Zombie Teddy says, Skep Talk, you know a lot about killing people. You know a disturbing amount of information on how to kill people. I don't take issue with it. Just saying.
Thank you. I appreciate that somebody at least can understand that.
And then Duck Dog said, Zombie Teddy. Duck Dog says, Zombie Teddy, knowing how to kill people is one thing. Knowing how to hide the body is another.
Yeah, dispose of the body. That's the key.
Yes.
You have to know basically what acids bones are soluble in. You look for something that binds to calcium, basically. Not that I've ever had to do that.
I read a book recently where a man, it was a fictional book where a man killed his wife. He was a archaeology or anthropology curator.
Oh, so really?
He killed his wife and then put her in a maceration tank.
Mm-hmm.
And then introduced her skeleton to the museum collection as like a specimen.
Yes.
And hid the body.
You know that my undergraduate major was anthropology.
Yes.
Interesting idea. The problem is that there will be all that DNA there just waiting to get analyzed.
Yeah, they did. This person did this in like the 1800s, so that's why he got away with it.
Excellent. Exactly.
He was put on trial, but he was acquitted because there was no body found.
Yep. Gotta have corpus delicti.
Yep.
And, if you don't have the corpus, you don't get a conviction. You have to have proof that the person is dead. Basically, is what that extends from. But anyway, that's duck dog. That's what pig farms are for. Pigs will eat absolutely anything, including bone.
You ever watched the movie Snatch?
I have never seen Snatch.
Oh my God. Okay. First of all,
That
you
sounds
have to.
like porn.
It's not, but it's
Okay.
funny as hell. It's the only movie that I really can stand Brad Pitt in.
Mm.
Um,
He's in one of my favorite movies, so go easy on Brad. I actually don't like him in very much either, but he was in Meet Joe Black, and I love that.
okay. Yeah, I've heard of that movie. I liked Fight Club as well, but I only liked Fight Club after I saw it in described video.
Yeah.
Watching it without described video when you're blind is pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
But so Snatch is basically it's it's a gangster flick. Basically, it's the London gangster flick. It's a comedy. Brad
Comedy
Pitt
noir.
Brad Pitt plays a pikey. And there's one scene where like one of the bosses is talking to somebody. He's trying to scare them, and he
Mm-hmm.
goes through the process and how quickly it takes a pig to devour a body, and he's just super calm. Like he's just matter of factly talking about how it would take like a bunch like a herd of pigs like minutes
Yeah.
to destroy a body.
Mm-hmm.
And he finishes up with the line, hence the expression, as greedy as a pig. Like, this Cockney accent, just
Mm-hmm.
super, it's funny as hell. I
Now,
love
when you say
Snatch.
pikey, do you mean like a con man?
I mean, like that's what they call the Irish gypsies.
Yeah, the Irish travelers, right?
It's
Yeah, like they're con men. They're basically
pretty much, yeah.
drifters. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's and the narrator of the movie, when they get to the pikey camp, it's not Irish, it's not English, it's, well, pikey.
Pikey.
And Brad Pitt, he actually does a pretty good accent. It's really
Mm.
funny.
Interesting.
It's
He chose Cockney, huh?
well, it's the first. The guy I was telling you has a more of a Cockney East London.
Yeah.
Your typical
Boy,
London
got that.
gangster. Your typical London gangster.
Yeah.
86 carats. Yeah, that's another one. That's another part of the. Yeah. The movie's all about a giant diamond. Yeah. Yeah, and it's all about the diamond and the antics around the acquisition of the diamond. It's an 86 carat diamond.
86 carat diamond. That's a big diamond.
Yeah.
A big ass diamond.
It's a funny movie. I would highly recommend watching it. And that and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
They're by the same people. Except Brad Pitt's not in that one, I don't think. But it's funny. Just don't watch it with somebody who doesn't understand accents, because you'll be sitting there and having to pause the movie every 5 minutes because they'll be like, what did he say?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. If you have bleach and ether, Duck Dog, don't combine them.
Yes, Jason Statham is the main character and the narrator. I thought it was Jason Statham. I just didn't want to be like, I wasn't sure, so so it's Jason Statham and Brad Pitt.
The bad guy's name is Bricktop.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, Bricktop is the guy that was talking about the pig farm. And yeah.
I may have to go check that out.
Oh, it's funny. You will laugh and laugh and laugh. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Need to check that out. Pikey. I haven't heard the word pikey in years and years. People talked about, there was a group in North Carolina, a group of Irish travelers in North Carolina, and they were working their magic in the Southeast.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of folks in Northern Georgia who were out to kill them. Just find them and kill them. They don't appreciate having their hard-earned money swindled away.
Yeah, Chadwick says, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's so funny. I can't get enough of Snatch. It makes me laugh so hard.
Absolutely. But with the right set of acids, you can actually take a body, dump it in a tank, take the residue that's in that tank after you decant off the stuff that can go in the sewer and never be traced, and then you can put another acid, put that in another acid bath, and you're basically leaching off various minerals, and you'll eventually get a clear wash. You don't even have to grind up the teeth. You can there are acids, hydrofluoric acid, for example, will dissolve calcium, and you can even do it so that it leaves the gold, if you're interested in the gold.
Yep. It's a very interesting chemistry experiment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, applied chemistry. That's physical chemistry. That's like first year chemistry in college, really. It's easy stuff. But yeah, Chadwick says it's too much work. Grind up 2 teeth and take a drive. Yeah. That's exactly it. People don't change their location when I'm teaching a class and getting rid of bodies. I always tell people, change your location. The most important thing you can do is get rid of it in a different place. And because the cops in the other area will have neither the time nor the interest to devote to, it's just a corpse, big deal, John Doe, toe tag it and bury it.
Yeah.
Job be there tomorrow. But when it's Aunt Susie down the street who got murdered, those cops will be psyched up about,
Oh, go screw yourself, Gerald Butts. Sorry, I'm looking at trending Twitter stuff.
Oh, what does Gerald Butts say?
So Gerald Butts is a Canadian guy who's close to Trudeau.
Ah.
And he's trying to have us believe that the cabinet shuffle that saw our Attorney General demoted to a veterans minister had nothing to do with this construction fiasco that she was unwilling to be partisan about. And everyone in the country is going, and I've got a bridge to sell. The more that I read about this scandal with the company is called SNC-Lavalin, and what they wanted to do was secure private contracts to build in Libya. And Trudeau was going to be like, yeah, that's fine. You go do that. You go build over in Libya. And they apparently had ties to Gaddafi before he died. And Jody Wilson-Raybould, the Attorney General, was like, no, Mr. Trudeau, that's not okay. That's not legal. And she testified that she had been told, basically, if she knew what was good for her politically, that she would play ball. And she said, fuck you. And then was demoted to Veterans Affairs Minister. Now, Trudeau and his people are swearing up and down that this was just a cabinet shuffle because somebody else resigned.
Does Trudeau think we don't think?
Yes.
He really is an elitist. He's truly an elitist, and the worst sort. He cares nothing about the common person in Canada.
No, he doesn't. He does not give a shit. Like it was clear when he got up in Parliament and yelled like the quote that I told you guys about back in the beginning of February when he said Canadian low income families in Canada don't pay taxes, so tax benefits won't help them. He was screaming that in part, like he was screaming, low income families don't benefit from tax breaks because they don't pay tax. Like literally, like animated screaming. And now he's trying to have us believe that he just randomly happened to shuffle his cabinet when his attorney general was trying to, be an attorney general. Like, really? Like, I'm the more that I read about this scandal, the more that I am convinced that we will not make it till October for an election.
I almost think so myself.
We are going to have a no confidence vote.
I've got a dog who has her legs crossed and Daddy, take me out, take me outside. I've got to take Chloe out. She's being a good girl. I'll be right back.
No worries.
Sorry. I'm sorry about this.
Let's see. What does Blind Girl say? Did you hear the Rebel Media clip trying to track down the amount of taxes we've paid for Syrian refugees to stay in hotels? There's no records of it because of the amount of money it costs. No, I didn't hear about that. Well, when dumb people are trying to get a stupid point across, they just yell louder. Oh yeah, you asked Pinkalo about that. Think about this. His whole campaign was not for poverty-stricken families. It was all for the middle class and higher. Yes, it was. It was. This whole thing stems back to 2001. Yes, it does. Back when when did Chrétien left, or Chrétien's last prime ministership ended in 2004. So this is all the way back to Jean Chrétien. Then through Paul Martin, then through Stephen Harper, then through Trudeau. So the Liberals and the Conservatives hold blame for this. That's because he's a spoiled little rich brat who doesn't know anything about the lower class. Yes, Chadwick, you are absolutely right. Did you guys know that dogs are cute? They are cute. They really are. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. I'm yawning again. Let's see. Do we have any interesting gems in the Discord? Yeah, I totally expect a no confidence vote. We're not going to make it to October. Hey, it's Pop and Hop. More coffee. Yes. I'm still trying to decide whether I should do this or not. Because I'm going to do a stream later. The more I think about it, I'm still pissed off. Yeah, honey, do your stream later. Okay? You need to. You need to do your stream and don't doubt yourself, okay? Just sit in front of the mic and talk, okay? Like you're good on mic. You have a topic, which is what you need, and you are good on the mic. You can do it.
Who are you talking about?
Pincalo.
Pincalo's great. Are you kidding? With that voice, with that radio announcer voice?
He
God, I'd kill for that voice.
He did he has a video up, guys. You should go check it out after the stream. It's a 3-minute video. It's called hashtag an ape reads Florida man did what with what. It's
I need to send that out on my Twitter to my little 12,000 strong mob. Where is that? On YouTube. You did it on YouTube, right?
Pardon?
He's on YouTube, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you're subscribed to him.
I think I'm subscribed to him, but at least I thought I was. Disgraced Justin Trudeau asked to resign. He won't.
No, he won't. There have been a lot of calls this week for him to resign. There have been, like, as I was saying before you had to take Chloe out, we are not going to make it to October. They have a lot of reason. They have more reason than we did to call no confidence on Stephen Harper. And we had no confidence called on Stephen Harper 3 times. And he still ran 2 terms.
Holy crap.
So
Canada's doomed.
We gotta get Justin the fuck out of here.
Okay, I'm sharing his video now. I am subscribed to him. I don't know. I don't get notifications for anybody, so I don't get them for Monkey.
Oh wow.
So anyway, fuck it. And
any chance Trudeau's? Oh wait. He said, Pincalo said, any chance Trudeau's going to ask for a proroguement of fucking parliament like Harper did twice before he got a no confidence vote? No, Trudeau's too stupid and arrogant.
Before he gets a no confidence like Harper did twice. Yeah.
Yeah, Harper prorogued parliament twice before he could get a no confidence vote.
Tell me what a prorogue is.
Prorogue parliament is, so the prime minister can shut down parliament in special circumstances. The other person who can do that is the governor general. So because she's the liaison to the queen.
So it's basically the crown shutting down parliament.
Yeah. So
is the representative of the queen.
If the government is so fucked up that nothing is getting done, the governor general has the authority to close parliament, and she can also force an election. She can be like, okay, this is not working.
This be bullshit. Okay.
Fix your shit.
Okay.
So
why isn't that being done? When she saw him in the pussy hat, why was this not done?
I don't know. And the thing is that what could also happen is the opposition can petition the governor general to prorogue parliament. Now, I don't think Scheer's going to do that. What I think Andrew Scheer's going to do is he's going to move for a vote of no confidence.
Which just means we don't have confidence in you, old chap. And that's it. You just move on, right? There's no election or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. So it removes his moral authority for governing without changing the government.
Oh,
That's the
why was
most
it not
insane
done?
thing.
Says Pincalo says, why was it not done? Simple. The current GG
It's just like Trudeau,
is just like Trudeau. Yeah. Dave,
and
yeah.
agrees with everything that Trudeau says. I think the current GG is a guy. Who's the
Does the
governor
Queen
general?
have to sign like she does here? No, not anymore.
Governor.
I don't think so anymore. I think that was why we got the Constitution repatriated.
It's Julia Payette, Her Excellency, the Right Honorable Julie Payette.
Yeah, she was, I think she was an astronaut.
She was invested as Canada's 29th Governor General on October 2nd, 2017. Now, who in the hell is she?
I know she was either an astronaut or married to an astronaut. I think she was married to Chris Hadfield at one point.
Let's see. Julia Payette. She went to McGill University, has a bachelor in engineering, has a master's of arts and science. She was a CSA astronaut. She spent 25 days, 11 hours, and 57 minutes and 19 seconds
So I
in
was right.
space.
She was an astronaut.
She was in the 1992 Canadian Selected Astronauts group. She was on STS 96 and STS 127. So she was on 2 shuttle missions. And there you go. She was on Discovery and she was on Endeavour.
Okay.
So, there she was aboard the Kibu Laboratory of the International Space Station. She was a mission specialist on on 96, and she was a mission specialist also. So she's, basically a gopher. Work the robot arm.
Yeah.
Basically, that was her responsibility, was to operate the Canadarm robotic arm from the space station. That was her main deal, and evidently that's one of those things you want to measure twice, cut once. So you don't use the arm to smash into the station. So she's had pretty good responsibility before.
Yeah.
But she's suddenly become blonde in her old age. As she's aged, she started out brunette in life, and she is the 29th Governor General of Canada. There you are.
Costin says that a vote of no confidence just means that the PM has to resign. It doesn't necessarily lead to an election. The GG can appoint another PM, but this hasn't really happened historically. Yeah, it usually leads to an election because usually the party cannot agree on a leader.
Yeah.
Or the GG had just I don't remember the last time the GG ever appointed a prime minister.
Let's see.
Oh, Joe Clark. Yeah. Sorry, Joe Clark was the last one in the 70s, I think.
All right. Let's see.
RVA says, I love when Pincalo streams.
Oh, yeah. Pincalo has a beautiful voice. He's an interesting guy. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And has a great point of view. Anyway, don't listen to me. I'll try and run your life, but I do think he would be a very talented streamer. I think he has a lot to offer. Very interesting guy.
Chadwick says, I love watching your parliament. They act like a bunch of children screaming at each other. They really, really do.
Yeah, yeah. Not like the American Congress or anything.
Technically, the GG appoints every PM, says Costin. Yeah, I guess.
Constitutional role. Though the monarch retains all executive, legislative, and judicial power in and over Canada, the Governor General is permitted to exercise most of this, including the royal prerogative in the sovereign's name, such as outlined in the Constitution Act, and through various letters, blah, 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 Privy Council or members thereof, yada, yada, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Okay. It's also stipulated that the monarch retains the sole right to appoint the Governor General. So the monarch appoints the Governor General. It's also stipulated that the Governor General may appoint deputies, usually Supreme Court justices and the secretary to the Governor General, who can perform some of the Viceroy's constitutional duties in his or her stead. And the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, or a puisne, that's like a French word that I can't remember what it means. In the Chief Justice's absence, like puissant, will act as the administrator of the government upon the death and removal, or as well as incapacitation or absence of the Governor General for more than 1 month. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to get through this mess of academia to get to the good part where they can crunch the prime minister and appointments, and the premiers of the provinces concerned play an advisory role, blah, blah, blah. So there are various advisors to her. Advice of the cabinet is by political convention typically binding, which means they tell her what to do. So both the Queen and her Viceroy may, in exceptional circumstances, may invoke the reserve powers, which remain the Crown's final check against the ministry's abuse of power. And I have a feeling the reserve powers are when they can nuke the Congress. And Canada reserve powers, prerogative, blah, 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 blah. The reserve power of dismissal has never been used in Canada. Okay, so they basically can fire everybody. Although other reserve powers have been employed to force the prime minister to resign on 2 occasions. The first took place in 1896, which I remember. Chuck Tupper, I think, Sir Charles Tupper, refused to step down after his party did not win a majority in the House of Commons, leading the Governor General, the Earl of Aberdeen, who was kind of stuffy, but he was a good guy, to no longer recognize Tupper as prime minister and disapprove of several appointments Tupper had recommended. On the second occasion, which took place in 1925, and came to be known as the King Byng Affair.
Yeah, King Byng Affair.
Prime Minister William Lyon Mackenzie King, I remember this, facing a no-confidence motion in the House of Commons, advised the Governor General and the Viscount Byng of Vimy to dissolve the new parliament, but Byng refused. And so the Governor General took Viscount Byng and dipped him in a bucket of acid and dissolved him. I added that part. No modern Governor General has disallowed a bill, although provincial lieutenant governors have. Interesting.
So did you know that yesterday's packages were our suspected IRA activity? And did you hear about
in London?
In London?
Yeah, the airports that was suspected IRA.
Yeah.
Were there notes in them that said, "We are totally IRA. We are very Irish. We are."
Here, I'll post the
Most
story
definitely.
that I just found in side chat.
Here is how you write Ireland in Arabic.
Oh yes, we are very, very Irish. We love our potatoes. Yes.
Yes, potatoes and beer. Oh, drink beer all time.
We love our potatoes and our meat, our beef.
Always dancing the jigs.
We're going to hell.
Yeah. I guess it's possible.
And we love our beer and whiskey.
Why is the IRA suddenly getting militant again? That's what doesn't make sense about this. That's why
I don't know, but here I'm gonna post I found it in Discord.
This sounds like some disaffected Iraqi terrorist saying, "Hey, you know what would be a great thing? Let's bring on the IRA. Those guys were always doing bombs, right? Yeah, 30 years ago."
There you go. There's the
all right.
There's the story.
Check the deal here. All right. New IRA terror fears after firebombs sent to Heathrow, Waterloo, and City Airport. London was on terror alert after jiffy bags with Irish love stamp and "We Love Ireland" in Arabic script arrived at London City Airport. Waterloo.
You called it. You called it.
and Heathrow in a single day. Interesting. 3 firebombs sent to London have sparked fears of a fresh Republican terror campaign on mainland Britain. The devices were found in jiffy bags with Irish love stamps and heavily written in Arabic script at Waterloo Station, City Airport, and Heathrow. It is thought this group, the New IRA, was responsible, which is made up primarily of Shia and Sunni IRA people. Okay. The New IRA was, I'm just teasing, but the New IRA are believed to have posted the deadly firebombs, which burst into flames and explode upon opening. I understand the one at Heathrow they actually opened.
Yeah, the airport staff opened it because I don't know why, but.
And no one was injured, but fears of fresh bombing campaign were growing. The devices were found in jiffy bags at Waterloo Station, City Airport, and an address near Heathrow. Okay, so that was some guy at some business probably near Heathrow.
Yeah.
All the outer packages had 2018 Valentine's Day stamp on with the words, "We love Osama bin Laden" in Arabic, which were available in Irish post offices. There could be more devices still in depots.
Did it actually say that?
No, I'm just teasing. If they are from the New IRA, I just can't stop myself. They will be the first Republican explosive found on the mainland since 2014. Yeah, I guess it's possible. It's possible they are. I think, what might really be evil is if the IRA has found a new crop of recruits, if you know what I mean.
Do you know what I think would be even more evil is if Islamic groups were studying the history of the UK and Ireland.
Yeah.
And decided, hey, they're pretty pissed off about all of our trucks of peace and stuff. So why don't we come at this at a new angle?
Exactly. That's precisely where I was going with it. Yeah. It's about calling on those in power to take notice that the majority of people in Northern Ireland voted to remain in the EU. So, all right, a senior Irish source said last night, people are saying they found 3. I wonder if there are any more devices left undiscovered in post rooms. It's the same people who did this in the 70s. Chances are there will be more. The source claimed that the attacks may be linked to Brexit, adding, people believe this is a wake-up call, warning to show what they could do, the disruption they can cause if British abandon the backstop. It's about calling on those in power to take notice. The majority of people in Northern Ireland voted to remain in the EU. Fucking let Northern Ireland give them self-rule.
Maybe they went to put Iraq and forgot the Q. This is Pincalo.
Pincalo gets the line of the stream as far as he gets the line of the stream award. That's just,
yep.
I can't do better than that. No one can. That's just perfect. God. Let's all just take a moment and laugh. That's just
agreed.
That's hilarious. I can't do better than that. I can't even do that well. That's perfect. The new IRA are the prime suspects in their inner court. Now, every time I see IRA, I see Iraq. Iraq are the prime suspects, and their inner court is very tight. It is thought they are using the skills of older, experienced people to create mayhem. Another source said at least one package originated from Dublin and is believed all are from Ireland. It is most likely to be a new IRA dissident Republican attack. New IRA is a paramilitary group based in areas of West Belfast and Dublin and Baghdad, formed of dissidents who reject the peace process. Interesting. Wow. The sources said it has been handed locations of old IRA arms dumps, which were never disclosed during the decommissioning process after the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. They are well equipped with AKM assault rifles, submachine guns, handguns in large quantities of blowy, the nickname for commercial explosives, including Semtex, lovely, supplied to the IRA by Libya in the 1980s. I mean, that's a lot of potential energy in Semtex. All right.
Belfast, the city that built the Titanic, says our chat.
Exactly. Now, in fairness, that was a great shipyard. I'm going to go to the defense of that shipyard. They didn't do anything wrong. They did nothing wrong when they built that ship to spec. The designers did some things wrong, and the crew. It's a good thing that Captain did go down with the ship because he would have been barbecued if he had lived. There was no excuse for not making that ship watertight, and they could have. I mean, all they had to do was close some bulkheads. Anyway, don't get me started. But yeah.
Doc Dog says blowy isn't cocaine. What a lost opportunity.
Snort a little Semtex. Let me know how it works for you. Might be a good high.
Snort a little Semtex and then light a cigarette real close to your face.
Absolutely. Actually, Semtex, I think it just barely burns. But if you put a blasting cap in it, then you get enough of the. It's one of those things that its safety is that you have to have a highly exothermic reaction to it, like an explosion within it, like a blasting squib to set it off. And I know way too much about explosives. I'm sorry, misspent youth. At any rate, yeah. Well, that's great. So the IRA is back, if they are back. Yeah, and possibly, I'm sorry, but if the dissident elements who want to destroy British society and replace it with an Islamic society are not looking seriously at these guys as an ally, they're missing the point. They're missing an opportunity because the IRA were basically people who had been. Both sides had treated each other so badly for so long. They were just, there was no help for it. That's one of the saddest things. It's one of the saddest episodes in world history I know about was the Troubles, and those things go back to the 1800s. It was awful for a long time.
What's that line from the Cranberries song? It's the same old thing since 1916.
Yes.
In your head, they're still dying.
Zombie. Yeah. Yep. Cranberries, one of my favorite groups. Period. So sorry that she passed.
Yeah.
I listened to that song yesterday. Oddly enough, I was doing some stuff around the house, and I had one of my mixtapes, YouTube collections on. A couple of zombies had Zombie and Dreams. Remember Dreams?
Dreams was a good one.
Dreams is actually as good or better a song for me than Zombie. Zombie is a great song. You know, it's highly political and, you know, deeply emotional. Dreams is like ethereal and amazing.
Yeah.
I love that song. Love the, anyway, sorry. How I do go on. What is chat saying? Or have they given up on us at this point, or just having their own? Let's see.
It goes back even further, 1600s, says Scotsman.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I mean, you know, the part that I studied in history.
I bet the Muslim mayor was glad to blame the Irish.
Oh my God. Well, that's a great thought too. It's a great thought. Yeah, Duck Dog says Semtex is like C4. It needs a high energy initiator. That's basically what I was trying to say. And it is extremely stable. Yes, you're correct, Greg Rogers. Yeah, Chadwick is saying mixtape. Well, listen, the old man talked about his mixtape.
Hey, I used to make mixtapes.
The old fool. I don't use cassette tapes anymore. I've got a bunch of them. I've got to figure out what to do with them.
I used to make cassette tapes all the time.
Yeah.
My best friend and I used to record our sleepovers.
Now that I think I would pay money to hear. I would love to hear that.
Oh God, like just little 8 and 9-year-old blind press with her best friend. Just,
oh man, that could be very entertaining. Blind, seriously. I think if you got some excerpts off of that, it'd be pretty wonderful. I actually found a tape of me in 1973.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's me just hanging out with a bunch of my friends, and there's about 4 of us playing the guitar all at the same time, and it's just this massive guitar noise in the background with shouting and funny jokes and, you know, laughing at funny stuff.
That's awesome.
It's kind of a fun thing. It's hard to distinguish many of the voices, but it's an interesting. It was. I actually remember the day we made that. It was the day that I met Doc Severinsen from The Tonight Show. Doc Severinsen was Johnny Carson's band leader on The Tonight Show, and my friend was the deputy commissioner of the Michigan State Lottery. It was also the day that I met the governor of Michigan.
Oh, cool!
And he took us up, and we got to shake Doc Severinsen's hand and got to have our pictures taken with the governor. And then we went to the drawing. The drawing was for the first $1 million winner in the history of the Michigan State Lottery, and that's what they had all the pomp and circumstance for. And we got to be up on stage with the celebrities and all that stuff. It was pretty cool. And it's through that same guy that I got to meet Mario Cuomo, because he became the first commissioner of the New York State Lottery, and moved up there. And then when his daughter got married, I went up for the wedding. This is my best friend from high school. He said, "This is the brother I never had. I mean, we're closer than close." And his sister was getting married, and Mario Cuomo was at the wedding. Kind of cool. Got to meet him. And interesting.
Wait, Cuomo?
Mario Cuomo. Yeah.
As in like
the father of. The father of. Yes, he was the governor of New York. You didn't think Chris Cuomo got there on his own, did you?
What about is Andrew his brother? Or is that a different Cuomo?
No, it's same Cuomo. I think one's the son and the other's the nephew, I believe. I don't think they're brothers. Let me just check that. I'll check that real quick. I didn't meet any of the Cuomo kids. Let's see. Mario Cuomo. And there's the old guy. Yeah, he just died in 2015. Let's see who his children or children, or no, Andrew and Chris are both. Oh, and you know who I did meet? I met Margaret Cuomo. I met
Okay.
Margaret Cuomo. I did. That's the only one who I've met. I did not meet Andrew or Chris. They are both his sons. I don't. He has there's a famous, or not semi-famous, kind of a political type,
Yeah.
with the surname Cuomo, who's related to that group too, who I've run across. That's where I'm remembering that. But anyway, yeah, interesting, folks. It hit. Mario Cuomo is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. By the way, just he makes you feel. He made you feel like you were the center of the universe when he talked to you. He just had that. He had everything his sons don't have, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree with his politics. He was a welfare stater to the nth degree. But as far as being a kind-hearted, decent man, God, I love the guy. He was a really nice guy.
RJ says, Skep Doc, have you met any famous race car drivers?
I never have. Not one. Not one.
Blind Girl is asking, how do you think they make Cheetos? I don't know.
How it's actually like a Chiefs puffing machine. I actually know something about that, and I can't remember what I know, but I did. I had to look something up about Cheetos one time. Cheetos, Cheetos, how are they made? Are they made? Puffed cornmeal, and they were introduced in 1948. They are, let's see, they're manufactured by blending water and corn. The germ of the corn is removed to prevent spoiling. The germless corn is then ground into cornmeal. Because the cornmeal lacks any nutrients at all, it is enriched by adding nutrients in order to increase its nutritional value. Enriched cornmeal is found in many, many, many different things. I won't go through the thing. The mixture is heated under pressure and then extruded through a die. That's what I remembered. The texture of the snack is formed as a result of contact with the hot air causing steam in the mixture to expand and creating its characteristic crunchy feature. There you
go. Blind Girl, he looked it up. He didn't.
Yeah, no.
She's like, wow, he knows everything.
No. That's straight out of Wikipedia, boys and girls. That's straight out of Wikipedia. I do not know. I can look things up very quickly. I do not know a tenth of what I seem to know. And some of my stories are actually true. Now, I do try and speak the truth, but I will admit when I look stuff up, I do know a lot of trivia, a lot of really worthless stuff. And let's see. Danica Patrick. She was a Chadwick Dupree. I met Danica Patrick outside of a bathroom once. Sounds a little weird, Chadwick. Just saying. Once I tried to say hi, but it didn't come out that well. She asked me, "What are you doing outside the bathroom, you weirdo?" No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing, Chadwick. If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't say anything about it. Okay, let's see. Pink Owl says, we have Lay's here, which was formerly Humpty Dumpty potato chips. And before that, my dad was best friends with a guy who owns one of the largest potato companies during the 1950s. Interesting. I would think that potatoes grow pretty well in southern Canada. It's an Idaho kind of, there's Idaho kind of climate up there where you have the, short summer that never gets hot enough to kill the part that's above ground, which is real important because it's where the nutrients come from. And then you got the gravelly soil. I'm sure there's gravelly soil, especially in Western Canada. Where are the potatoes grown in Canada? You should know this.
PEI.
Really?
PEI in the Yukon.
Interesting. In the Yukon.
Yeah. Yukon gold potatoes.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's interesting.
But Prince Edward Island potatoes are great.
Prince Edward Island potatoes. Who knew?
And then you get a lot of we do a lot of corn in Ontario. like Southern Ontario.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously out in Western Canada, like the wheat and all that. But in Southern Ontario, we have a lot of vegetables that are grown here. Like fall is great for pricing in southwestern Ontario for like apples because we have tons and tons of orchards. So we can get like apples and pears, and the price goes down way down in the fall. In the summer, you get the nice ripe Ontario strawberries. They're a lot smaller than the California ones,
Mm.
and they're a lot sweeter.
Yeah.
You get Ontario blueberries.
California strawberries have been ruined over the years, in my
They
opinion.
have, yeah. Um,
They're done for yield and to make them
yep.
into jams and stuff.
So if you get in the you get potatoes here too. We do a lot of potato fields here. But the peaches, oh my God, the Niagara peaches. Holy shit.
That's
I've
a racial thing. You can't say that word.
I said Niagara.
No, but even so, or is that like niggardly?
No.
It's close, but no cigar.
You go up. I don't know if you've ever gone, because you said you've been to Canada.
Yes,
But I don't know if you've ever been to Niagara Falls.
I have.
Yeah, the
I've never
peaches.
gone over the falls in a barrel.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list, but I've not done it. It's probably going to be my last thing.
If you go to visit Niagara Falls in like late August,
Yeah.
that's when you will get, like, you can go to these stands out in the country and buy like 3-liter baskets of peaches.
No. They give the ripe ones away.
They're so good, and they're all ripe.
Yeah. What with peaches, you want to buy them, just as they're getting ripe.
Yeah.
Right. But the ones that are going to be no good in a day or two, there are places in Alabama and Georgia where they just give them away. They'll just to the kids, and they're so delicious. They're so good. But I can imagine, people forget that great amounts of produce were grown in southeastern Canada and the northeastern United States. New Jersey is not called the Garden State for nothing.
No, it's not. Yeah,
it has. I will put a New Jersey tomato against any tomato on earth. They make amazing tomatoes. And they're still good because they never made them in bulk enough to where they could be ruined like the Western tomatoes in the United States.
Yeah, we've got another, like, my grandmother. Oh my God, she grows so many tomatoes, so many different kinds of tomatoes.
Yes,
and every
they're
fall,
wonderful, aren't they? They taste like real tomatoes.
Every fall, I go to visit her, like, because we go most weeks for Sunday dinner.
Yep.
But in the September, October time,
yep,
she's like, "Here, have a big basket of tomatoes," and she always makes sure that there's grape and cherry tomatoes in there for me because I freaking love those things. I'll just sit there and munch, tomatoes. munch.
Absolutely, absolutely. God, the tomatoes that we get in the supermarket down here, they're finally starting to get like hothouse tomatoes in the supermarkets. What we got for so many years were these big pink, tasteless seed pod things that sort of looked like tomatoes, and they were kind of pinkish, whitish looking, awful things.
Yeah.
They didn't have the right color. They didn't smell like tomatoes. You know how when you're in a tomato patch, you can smell a certain smell. I don't know if you've been in any tomato patches, but I've grown tomatoes my whole life. And there is a certain smell, back me up, chat. Those of you who are tomato farmers, I know you know what I'm talking about. Tomatoes smell a certain way. Tomato plants particularly smell a certain way. It's not tomatoes themselves, it's actually the leaves on them.
Yep.
Oh, I love Michigan cherry tomatoes. Oh God, Michigan cherry tomatoes are amazing. You're absolutely right.
Tomato plants have this earthy smell.
Yes, they do. But there's no smell like it. There is
No.
no smell. I mean, you instantly know that's a tomato plant. And Chadwick says, then you're eating the wrong kind of cherries. We grow two different kinds of cherries here, cherries for wine and cherries for eating. Is he talking about cherry tomatoes or
Cherries.
cherry cherries? Oh, Michigan cherries. Yeah, Michigan cherries are famous. I can't remember if I ever had any Michigan cherries. And I lived in Michigan for 5 years. I lived in Ann Arbor for 5 years. But Duck Dog says tomatoes smell like weed and ozone to me. Okay. That's not.
Hop and Hop says, my grandparents had a huge garden when I was a kid. Tomatoes and cucumbers had a very distinct smell. Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. And what I love about cucumbers is even I cannot kill them. I can grow cucumbers. Tomatoes and cucumbers and peppers are the heart of my part of the garden. Yeah. Brenda, my wife, has an amazing green thumb. I mean, she has all the talent I never had in gardening. And she's the one who gets really great potatoes to come out of the ground and other stuff. I mean, she grows eggplants and watermelon and cantaloupe and all kinds of stuff. We have a big honking garden. It's kind of a victory garden. We could probably support ourselves in a vegan way, you know. And you know, our plan is we've got the vegetables down, right?
Yeah.
And so essentially we can hunt social justice warriors for meat, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to eat them because they might be like.
Oh, they're well marbled. Typically well marbled. You don't want to shoot the vegans. Obviously, you want a more well marbled. Kid who's not been out of his mother's basement for a while. You flush him out of the basement, and people say, "Well, how can you shoot a kid?" And I'd say, "You just don't lead him as much."
You also say kids, kids being like some 20-something.
Yeah, 27-year-old living in his mother's basement. Yeah, that's a kid to me. And
that meat is tainted. Don't consume that. Yeah.
Of course, we're typical. Chadwick says his dad grew up in Ann Arbor during the Depression. Interesting. Ann Arbor is so social justice-y now. I wouldn't live there, but it was a fun place to live back in the 1970s, the late 60s and 1970s. God, it was, marijuana was essentially legal. The police would just look the other way. They just wouldn't. They'd walk across the street to avoid busting somebody for marijuana. They were very cool about it. And
oh, Pincolo, can you ask the Shipley question again? Because I think I must have missed that.
Let's see. I missed it. Did Skep talk address the question I had about on Shipley? Let's see.
Don Shipley. He's the stolen valor guy who goes around and busts stolen valor people. He was a former Navy SEAL.
He was in Buds 131 or something like that. Is that the guy he's talking about? That's what I remember. I was thinking it was in Buds. Basic Underwater Demolition School is what that stands for.
Yeah, he was
school in Coronado. He was a Buds graduate. So back in the day, back in Bud's class 131, they would graduate two kinds of people from Buds. People who were going to be in what they called underwater demolition team, and the other people who were going to go to SEAL teams. Now, they basically cross-trained on each other's missions. So a UDT could go and do SEAL missions, and SEALs could go do underwater demolition teams. Underwater demolition teams were like very specialized forms of SEALs that, specialized in attaching mines to the hulls of enemy submarines and blowing them up, that sort of thing.
Right.
And it was extremely dangerous work. And they were all qualified to do each other's jobs. They merged the two in, I think, the early 90s. And but anyway, my roommate at Officer Kennedy School was a SEAL.
Cool.
He was, yeah. Wouldn't mind his name. His name was Danny Sharp. Not only that, my company commander at OCS was an enlisted man who was becoming an officer, and he is famous in the UDT community. His name is Dave Foreman. You might have even heard of his name. He's been on Fox and stuff like that. Very, very interesting, fascinating guy. And,
Pink Hollow says he goes after fake SEALs. This Don Shipley guy.
Yes. That's who I was trying to think of, the stolen valor thing. Did Twitter bounce him?
Yes, they did.
Happened? What the fuck? What? Wait a minute. If this is true,
they bounced him, I think, for going after Nathan Phillips, the quote unquote Army Ranger refrigerator motherfucker. The Army, the recon ranger, quote unquote guy. Shipley went after him.
Okay, congratulations, you dipshit, for banning Don Shipley. Fuck you, YouTube. So you got banned off of YouTube. YouTube bans former Navy SEAL Don Shipley over exposing stolen valor. YouTube has axed the channel of famed Navy SEAL Don Shipley for allegedly exposing the truth about stolen valor. Shipley's channel, Buds 131. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, he got
Buds 131. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Was known for exposing fraudulent Navy SEALs, was banned entirely from the YouTube platform last month. It was recently learned his channel was created in 2008 and had 250,000 subscribers, roughly. Previously, his videos were individually taken down by YouTube for violations ranging from music or movie copyrights to terms of use. Shipley knew it would be a matter of time before they nuked his channel. Fox News reported last week. The hammer struck after Shipley created a video exposing Native American activist Nathan Phillips over his claims of being a Vietnam vet. And he did say that he was a Vietnam vet, and he didn't deny it when people asked him if he was, and what he was a veteran during Vietnam, during the time of Vietnam. You know, it would be like me saying I'm a Vietnam vet. You'll never hear those words come out of my mouth. I was in service, and I got to wear the National Defense ribbon for being in the service during the time of Vietnam, but I was never in country. I was always in 3rd Fleet. I never made it over to 7th Fleet. It's just, luck of the draw. They did not need the entire Navy in Vietnam. It was basically an Army deal.
Yeah.
Let's see. YouTube terminates Don Shipley's YouTube channel. Butts 131. This time I was told I was banned from a video I'd posted several years ago about a phony SEAL, but after several years, I doubt that's what caused it. So what they did was he outed Nathan Phillips. They went back through his stuff. They found something that they felt crossed the line on terms of service and nuked him for that. That's what happened too.
Yeah.
That's actually what happened.
He's pretty sure that it's actually because of Nathan Phillips.
Right.
But,
exactly. And I agree with him, by the way. Yeah. Wow. The exposure of the frauds was necessary for the reputation, honor, service, recording Shipley, which I tend to agree. There's some guys who go a little bit overboard in doing it. I just, as far as I'm concerned, if you just expose these guys for who they are and just, get their names out there, that's well enough. You don't need to shame them because they've shamed themselves, in my opinion. But
King Carlos says, I'll let the cat out of the bag. I'm doing a response video to a YouTuber later. Jar Jarbo fucking mundane fat. Yeah, he's Mundane Matt covered this, and
Mundane Matt covered this.
Pink Hollow's a little bit upset.
How did
about the way he
Matt
covered it? I haven't seen the video.
Mundane Matt has one of the most ironic names because his videos really are boring to me. I unsubbed from him. I subbed from him early on,
Yeah.
back in the heat of the anti-social justice warrior days, because he made a couple of videos that were mildly amusing, and I unsubbed from him when they got boring again, which it didn't take long for them to do. And it's you know, I don't know, mundane Matt. Why is Pinkella doing the response video?
Um,
Do we know?
I think he saw the video that Mundane Matt did
Yeah.
and was really
All pissed off about it.
upset with how Mundane Matt was apparently very disingenuous about it.
Yeah.
So
Let's see. He went after the guys who kept talking that they would put that they were 30 years SEAL veterans in business bios when they had never served a day in the military.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Is that because of the YouTubers flooding the porn sites? I know. Right.
Cult of Pearl says Mundane Matt's an SJW.
He's not wrong.
No, he says also Mundane Matt's a super coward. His superpower
Is do the absolute wrong thing and have the wrong take almost every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with BG on this. Blind Girl says Mundane Matt is boring. It's in the name. That's what I was saying. It's ironic that that's his name because that's what he is. He's just a boring fat man. And there you go. Which a lot of people probably say about me. I can't stand it when he gets on the Lords of the Night. He's always trying to pick a fight with someone. I know he's one of these guys who he thinks drama is the key and he doesn't do drama well.
I have to say when they have Mundane Matt on, I hate to say it, but I don't watch.
Oh, I bail also.
I don't listen.
I won't listen to Mundane Matt. My life is too cool to spend one instant listening to that. And so it was
and it's super disingenuous that whenever somebody says something critical about him, he goes and flags them. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You can't take criticism. You got to flag people.
Yeah. Yep. All you need said he's not been on Lords of the Night in a long while.
It's been about a month. He's been pretty recently.
I only listen to LOTN probably 2 or 3 nights a week now. I used to be a don't miss it. It's where I was at 8 o'clock. And now, partly because sometimes they have people on who, and I'm not going to mention any names, but just people I'm not as interested in as I am Monkey and Scribe and Satsu. They have somebody else on who I'm not that interested in. And I always thought that it was a shame that it couldn't be a 4-person stream in SDA. Because I think SDA added a lot to the stream. She was sometimes the grown-up who said, boys, it's time to stop.
Yeah.
And that's she was a good influence on them. And sometimes it just turns into a frat house thing. And I get a little tired of that. But
all you need, he's been on twice since the event. At least.
The event. Okay. Help me out. The event was
the doxing or the flagging.
The flagation. Okay.
The mass flagging that he did.
That he was totally guilty of.
Yeah, he's been on Lords of the Night at least twice since then.
It's interesting. I wasn't really thinking of that. I hadn't forgotten it. I just was thinking about the fact that he's boring. But in point of fact, that's something that is just the side of unforgivable to me, what he did.
Yeah.
I can't get on board that at all. My God, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it is.
Time flies.
It
Time flies
does.
when Skep is yakking the whole time. I feel like I've yacked the whole time.
No, it's been pretty balanced.
Oh, that's good. So
Minions tonight?
yes, Minions tonight, and you will be on, or at least I'm hoping you will be
I
on.
will, yeah.
I never take you for granted, but I was delighted when you can show up. You are core, along with Prospero and Kara. And tonight we'll be having Uzi Q of the much better half of Irate Prostate. And I don't know whether he will be dropping by, but Uzi is definitely going to be on, and I confirmed that with her this morning. And so, yeah,
Awesome.
we're going to have a banging show tonight. And I was, I'm hoping to, I'm trying to get a few more different people, people who aren't usually on Minions, like I did with Peach Bailey, to come on. And I might ask Peach to come on again. She said she enjoyed.
RJ says RJ says that they'd like to come on too.
Let's see. Oh, RJ's going to be available tonight because I had talked about it. I didn't know that. Yeah, RJ, send me a DM, bud, if you would, and on Twitter, and that or Discord, either one, to remind me, because I'm an old man and I'm senile at this point, and I need to make a list of who I'm inviting. RJ and I had talked about him being on, and tonight would be great. Tonight would be perfect to have him on, and I love taking people who have an interest in coming on streaming. I'd love to have Pink Callow on some night. I think the dynamic of having both of you on would be pretty fun. I also know that there's a logistical issue of kids.
Well, the kids are asleep when Minions are on.
Okay.
And he's got his mic now. So
okay. So
if he's not busy, we can
let him know that he's got a standing invite. Well, he knows he's got a standing invite, but I mean, it would be great to have him on because he is an interesting guy with he has a lot to offer, and frankly, the more interesting people I have, less work it is for me, and that's what it's all about. No, I'm just teasing. I do like to have interesting folks on, and I like to mix it up a little bit and see how people interact with one another. It'd be great to have RJ on tonight, and we'll see who else fills out the dance card.
Awesome.
I'm going to invite Jacob, as I always do these days, and I can't think of anybody else standing. I generally during the day keep an eye out on Twitter and Discord for anybody who contacts me and says, "Hey, I'd like to be on." If I have room that night, I'll do it, or if not, I'll schedule them for one of the out weeks, and we'll do that. But I have my core group of people, as I said.
Yeah,
they're all women. I didn't plan it that way. They just ended up being all women, and but then we layer on top of that different guests who we love to have on, and it's a party. It's going to be a party tonight at 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern Time, and sometime Pacific Time. Whatever 10:30 minus 2 is. Was that 8:30 Pacific time? Love to have any of you guys on. And
Chadwick says, "Are you an audio Nazi? Because I'd love to come on, but I only have my cell phone."
Don't worry about it. We have people with cell phone all the time. Kara is on her cell phone half the time, so don't worry. She's core. Don't worry about that. Just as long as you're understandable, and as long as the background noise is controlled, those are the big things.
Yeah.
If we can understand what you're saying, and you're not, there's not. You can't be eating stuff into the microphone. We actually had an issue with that at one point. We had to come out with a little policy about that, but that's what the mute button is for. And, it's not me muting you, it's you muting you. That's
Yeah.
that's the key. So love to. No, I'm not an audio Nazi at all. I'm the other side of that. I actually broadcast with it's above, it's one step above the microphone you get in a good laptop. So
Yeah.
it's like a $25 microphone. I'm thinking about buying a Yeti, and just I talked about it with the wife and just trying to ascertain what kind of a price I'm going to pay,
Yeah.
the real price I'm going to pay for having a decent mic. And I got kind of an indeterminate answer, which means it's a no-go for now, but we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I'm not an audio Nazi at all. And what I am is I want to have interesting people on who want to contribute to the discussion. It's the big thing. That's it. So,
well, I think we'll wrap it up here, guys. I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening and interacting in chat. I hope you had a good time. I think we did. I sure did.
I did too.
And if you guys are around tonight, please come and check out Minions of the Zoo, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, as Skep said. And be sure to tune in tomorrow morning for another coffee stream. And we'll have lots of news for you then. I hope everyone has a great day and stays nice and safe out there.
Be careful out there, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.